Here's a video on how to change the spark plugs in your Hyundai Elantra. I think this works between the years of 2010 all the way up to 2018. I'm working specifically on a 2013 GT, and here are the tools you're going to need for this job, and it's not much. You're going to need 4 spark plugs, iridium tipped, an extension, a 5/8 socket for the spark plugs, a 10mm for the ignition coils, a gapping tool, ratchet, of course, and if you'd like, you can also get a magnet for getting the spark plugs out. You don't have to have a magnet for this job, but it's helpful. 2 other important notes: you don't need anti-seize, specifically with these NGKs. They don't require anti-seize, and I wouldn't recommend putting on there, especially because that can mess up your torque specs. And also, when to change your spark plugs, that's another important question. So if you check the owner's manual and you flip to the back where it says maintenance, you'll see here at 105 miles, it says to replace spark plugs, and specifically iridium coated. So that's why I'm doing this job today. I'm about 106, so it's a little bit overdue, but I haven't had any misfires or check engine lights, so I figured I'd just get it done now. I'll put a link in the description with all these tools that I'm using, so if that helps you out, you can find it and do this job yourself. It's very, very easy to do, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing is, of course, to get to the spark plugs, we need to get to the engine. So if you open up your driver's side door, and then come underneath the console here, on the driver's side, you just pull that hood latch button towards you, and we can go open up the hood. And all you got to do here is look underneath for the hood latch. So let's see, as you can see right there, let's see if we can get better light. That little thing sticking up right there. And that is how you get inside there. So again, I'll just show you that real quick. Here, let me get this hood picked up. So you'll just be looking for that lever right there. Push it to the left, and that'll open up the hood, and then just have the hood standing up. And next we got to remove the engine cover right here. Alright, so when you pop open the hood, first thing you're going to do is pop up this engine cover. Just pull all around it. It just has little suction cups, 4 of them on the underside, that hook into right here, and right here, and right here. So just pull up on that to get that off. And then once you get that engine cover off, what you're looking for, if you go back on the engine here, get my light down here, you're looking for right here. These are the ignition coils, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next thing is to pull off the wires that go to them. Alright, so this is really easy to do. I don't recommend using a screwdriver because it can break, but all you want to do is push up on that plastic tab without a screwdriver or any tool, just a little bit, and then push in the little black part. I have to go a little bit more. Okay, I think I'm almost out. Good. And then this should just slide out like that. So all you have to do is that same thing process for the next 4. Alright, so once we have that cover off and the wires disconnected, we're going to actually take off the coils. So I'm just going to pick an arbitrary one to start. Might make more sense to go in order, but you know, I thought I'd just show this for demonstration purposes. So let me get you some better light here. So what I'm doing right now is got my 10mm on an extension and just loosening the bolt holding in the coil right here. And these are not that tight, so I mean it should not take you much work to get it out. So just unscrew that one bolt, that 10mm bolt. I just put it up here, and then this should just slide right out. Might be a little stuck in there, but there you go. Slowly, and now you have your coil out. Let me go put that up here as well. And then what you're looking for now is the spark plug down there. So with the 5/8 socket and extension, all you're going to do is now go down into that hole where the spark plug is and loosen it up. So I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so our 5/8 socket in the spark plug hole, what we're going to do is I just like to make sure that I'm nice and straight on that spark plug, and then just start loosening. very difficult to do one-handed, so I'm gonna try and place you down somewhere. Let's see, how about right there? And let's all right. Sorry about that poor visual, but you get the idea. Just start loosening. Those squeaking sounds are not a problem. Don't worry about that. And just take off the ratchet and just undo it by my hand. And come on. Okay, so I know it's all the way loose down there, but it's not coming out. Two things you can do to get it out is you can either just use the boot to just go down there and grab it like that, or if you don't want to use that boot for some reason, you can just use a magnet. So that is how you remove the spark plug. So now let's talk about putting in a new spark plug. So to figure out the right spark plug that you're going to need for your vehicle, you just look inside the owner's manual and flip to the back to see what kind of spark plugs it recommends. For the Hyundai Elantra GT 2013, it recommends getting an iridium tip plug. So I got this one. There's the part number in case you want it. And yeah, so what you'll need to do next is to ensure you have the right gap on the spark plug before you install it. And again, I looked in the back of the menu and it didn't have a gap. So I looked online and found that it was 0.044 inches. So I'll show you how to gap that next. All right, so if we get our iridium plug here, open it up. Now I see this little cardboard, or it might be plastic. That usually indicates that the plug has been pre-gapped, quote unquote. And as you remember, the gap for the Hyundai Elantra is 0.044 inches. So if we get our little gauge, our gap checker, our gap gauge. Now, it's not recommended to use this on iridium tips, but if you're very careful, you shouldn't have a problem. You just want to be very careful of that iridium tip there. If you're careless and moving this back and forth to check the gauge, could break it off. But as long as you're slow and careful, it's not going to hurt anything. So we just gently slip that in and pull it around. And as you can see, this is only 0.04 instead of 0.044. So slowly take that out. And now we're going to gap that. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And you could use this this part of the tool to bring it out, but I just don't trust how close that is to the tip. So I actually have another gapping tool. There's a specific gapping tool that you can use for iridium tips, and I'll put that in the link in the description box below. But basically all you want to do is just have some sort of leverage to bend this tip up without obviously breaking that iridium tip. So with this other spark plug gapping tool I have, you just slip this in there and then make sure you have enough clearance and then just pull back. I'll go a little bit closer. Or actually I'll try the other side. There you go. And as you can see, that's nowhere near the gap or the iridium tip. So I'll just slightly, you don't need a lot of leverage here. Just pull that. Okay, and I'll check my gauge, see where we're at now. Again, we want 0.044, nice and lightly because it is iridium. Pull it out, try again. As you can see, got a little bit bigger, between 0.041 and 0.42. So I'll just, again, slip that in, trying to watch that tip, and then slightly pull. Again, really just trying to be careful and ginger with that iridium tip. And apparently I was a little bit too ginger because nothing changed really. So I'll just carefully pull it back out and try it again. Okay, that should do it. Feeling good about this one. And a little bit under, but we're pretty close, so I might do it one more time off camera, but you get the idea. It's all about just being careful and slow with it, watching that iridium tip. If you go too wide, you can always use the underside, or I guess any hard surface, and just push down, and then resize from there. But just watch that a little iridium tip, and you should be good to go. All right, with our new spark plug properly gapped, now what we're going to do is put it down into the engine. And you can use the boot for this. If your spark plug socket has a boot in it, it can also just drop it in like that. I do not have the boot any longer in mine, so I just use a magnet and just get it dropped down in there. And then what I'm going to do with my 5/8 ratchet, or excuse me, socket, is I'm just going to start to tighten this lightly by hand. And if there's any resistance, I know that that spark plug is not in properly. But right now, so far, no resistance whatsoever, so that's good. And I'm just going to keep tightening this until I need to put a ratchet on the back of this. So far we're doing great. Alright, so now it's getting tight. You can start hearing that washer on there starting to crush. So now I'll just put on my ratchet. Alright, so now I'm going to start tightening this by hand until it feels snug. That's feeling pretty snug. And the torque on this, I think, is around 15 to 20 foot-pounds. I don't remember exactly. Look up by your make and model for your specific vehicle. It should be in there, if not in your owner's manual. But you can use a torque wrench on this. I just go by the once it's pretty snug, give it about a half turn. And that'll do it. So yeah, that's how you put in the new spark plug. So now we just have to do the reverse order of operations. Alright, so yeah, just put the boot back in. Should slide in. No problem. And then have a little resistance toward the end. And then just attach that bolt. And that's literally how simple it is to change your own spark plugs. And then I'll just get my other ratchet here and tighten things up. Alright, again, 10mm. You're not tightening the lug nuts on your wheels, so this doesn't need to be crazy tight. I mean, that's probably it. Alright, so now that we have all the spark plugs replaced, all the boots back on, and all the bolts in, all you have to do is now just put these wires back on. And the nice thing is, there's not really a way to screw it up, seeing how his manufacturers made it so that their exact lengths are there and they're taped up. So yeah, just to show you how to do that, let me see if I can get you some better light. Alright, all you gotta do is just push the connector over this. Oops, there we go. Push it all the way down until you hear that little click. And then once you hear that little click, all you gotta do is just push that little plastic white piece right there. Right there. Just push it all the way down until it clicks. And you'll just do that for each of these. Alright, and then the last thing you want to do, once you've turned on your engine, making sure that everything starts okay, is just put on that engine cover. And again, it just sits over, so make sure that there's nothing in there, and then just smack it to the corners down, and it'll stick. Alright, and with our spark plugs in, we've tested it, we turned on the vehicle, no check engine lights, no weird engine sounds. This job is complete, so we can put the hood down. And just like that, you save money and change the spark plugs yourself. If you have questions, feel free to link them or put them down below. I'll again have the items that I used in this tutorial in my description box below. Feel free to like and comment and subscribe and share with friends if they'd like to do this themselves. And check out my other videos if you want to learn how to do other simple repairs either on your home or on your vehicles. And I'll see you in the next video.